Hi everybody, today I wanted to make a quick video about price, and I just wanted to go over a couple different things that may impact price and why you should consider not hiring the least expensive inspector possible. There's definitely a bunch of different factors. If you're going to spend more than the least amount, you would want to get something more for your money. So this video is really talking about what things might be offered as part of those benefits that would be added from paying a little bit more. So the first one is time. For an inspector, we only have a limited amount of time. So the amount of time we're spending on site, writing reports, dealing with clients with follow-up can greatly impact, kind of the amount we can produce. So generally speaking, if you're providing a really high quality inspection, you have a 3-hour inspection, a 3-hour report, and then some follow-up with the client, you're really going to reduce the amount of inspections you can do overall. So it might be possible to do a couple smaller jobs or one larger job, but you certainly won't be able to produce 3 jobs per day, that type of thing. So inspectors that are giving more time to each client are going to have to charge a little bit more for each client as well, so that they can kind of maintain that balance. Another factor is tools. So every tool has its own certification, and cost for the tool itself, and then all of those tools take additional time on site to utilize. Some inspectors like to keep their inspections very basic. Every tool you use, kind of open yourself up to additional liability by using it, is how many inspectors feel. So not using things like a thermal camera will reduce your liability. As far as our business, we just consider, if we can find as many problems as possible, that's going to be the best way to reduce our liability. So that's why we use thermal cameras. That's why we do pest inspections. That's why we use the best radon equipment and drones, kind of anything that's part of what we see as adding to our inspection. We will utilize it, even if it takes more time or additional training or has additional expense. So that's one thing that can change pricing is, an inspector that's offering a more basic inspection without those tools is going to charge less generally. And then the last factor is experience. Experience is hard for the average consumer to judge because any home inspector should be able to speak knowledgeable about the different problems in the home. So it's really like, okay, how is my inspector more or less knowledgeable? I would say a good default would be to go to certifications. For example, ASHI, or American Society of Home Inspectors, is America's oldest organization for home inspectors. They know all about the industry, and their certification process can show, when an inspector like myself becomes ASHI certified, I've done things to their standards for a certain amount of inspections, and they review my work and kind of have different steps to get to that point because it's the highest level within ASHI you can reach. So certifications like that, or even when it comes down to the individual things we're doing, like being certified for radon, pest, thermography, all those different things, those are really good ways to independently verify that your inspector has the knowledge that you're hoping he has. Obviously, there's other questions you can ask as far as how many inspections you've done overall, the amount of years you do it, are you part-time or you're full-time, that sort of thing, and then basic licensed and insured type questions. But in general, I think those are some of the things that you can use to figure out how knowledgeable your inspector is. Now, obviously, if an inspector's taking the time to get all these certifications and reinforce their knowledge, those also are going to increase, their value for an inspection. So kind of the more you learn about home inspections, the more you have to give and the more you have to look at. So sort of relates back to time, but in general, that's definitely a third factor. It's like, a more experienced inspector is generally, going to charge more as well. So those are some factors when you're picking a home inspector. I definitely don't think that it's the best to go with the cheapest inspector. I'm sure there's inspectors out there charging less than what we do as a company. We certainly don't want to be the cheapest company. We also don't want to be on the higher end of costs for inspections. We want to be an average or below average price with a really above average inspection, and that's how we feel we can offer the most value. A really top of the line inspection for a reasonable price. So when you're picking an inspector, consider all these factors, and hopefully that will make it easier to kind of make a decision with home inspectors ranging in price. Thank you.